Welcome to Advanblack's YouTube channel. I'm Steve, service technician for Advanblack, and today I'm going to be showing you guys something very cool, something we've been working on for a very long time. In this video, I'm going to show you the front and rear floorboards, the brake pedal, and the heel toe shifters now available from Advanblack. I'll also jump over here on the Street Glide and show you how to install them. This is a very easy install, something that you can definitely do at home. You don't need to take it to a shop to do this. A few simple tools and you can have all of this stuff put on your bike. This is CNC cut from a very heavy aluminum. As you can see on the back side here, we do have the Advanblack logo. This is a solid mount floorboard. There are no rubber cushions or anything like that. Now, I've been running that style floorboard for the last 6 years, and I'm going to cover this question because I get asked it a lot. Do you feel a lot of vibration in a solid mount floorboard? Meaning that there's no cushions or rubber or anything like that. Now, back in the day when motors were hard mounted, absolutely yes. But now with the advances in technology on the Harley Davidsons, you just don't feel that anymore. You have either a rubber mount or you have a B motor, which is a balanced motor, which basically has a counterweight in the motor to get rid of a lot of that vibration. So for those of you that are going to ask about hard mount floorboards, there's your answer. You just don't get that vibration anymore in the newer style bike. And first we're going to start with the Advanblack Rider footboard. As you can see, this is a fairly long footboard. It has all the spike grips on top of it. Very cool, unique cut on the outside, flat on the inside to keep away from your exhaust and stuff like that. You do have a couple of things that you'll have to mount to the back with 4 screws on each, little mounting pads. We'll cover that here in just a second. This is CNC cut from a solid block of aluminum, and you can get these in chrome or solid black. We have a solid black version on the Road Glide already. We've had them on there for about 5 months now, just kind of pre-testing them and everything, and they still look brand new. Some of you actually may have seen them down in Daytona. We already had them on the bike. Then we'll move back to the passenger floorboards that we make as well. It's going to have a different mounting system on the back because that's just a different mounting system on the back of the touring models. So we'll cover that here in just a second as well. But I did want to show you the floorboard for the rear. You will have a matching brake pedal. The one thing I do want to mention about the brake pedal is it mounts like your OEM ones. So if you have an aftermarket brake arm, you need to go out and look at it and see the way it mounts. If your brake pedal mounts with a solid screw in the middle like this and not from the end like a peg, then you can use this. As you can see, it has one bolt hole right in the middle. So you're going to set this on the brake pedal and run a washer and a bolt up this way. Now this is an aftermarket one that we used to have on the Street Glide, and this is just an example of the other style. As you can see, the bolt comes in from the end, so it's mounted more like a peg than it is a brake pedal. So if you have this style brake arm, this brake pad will not work. From there, we'll go over to the matching heel and toe shifter and the shifter arms. All of this stuff will be sold separately, so you do not have to buy the entire package. If you want the front floorboards and maybe the brake pad and the shifters, you can do that. If you want just the front boards and the rear boards and you don't want the brake pad and the shifter, it's a combination of things that make a complete package, but of course we'll have it available individually on the website. So let's get the camera over here, get all this other stuff off the bike, and we'll install the brand new Advanblack floorboard. So we're going to start over here on the brake side. We're just going to do one side on the front and rear floorboards because it's virtually the same thing on both sides. And over here we'll tackle the brake pedal, and then we'll go back over to the other side and do the shifter pegs. It really depends on what kind of setup you have on your bike. This one has the Ciro extended pegs here, so it's a little bit different bracket, but at the top it's basically going to be the same. You have a bracket comes up here. Just get down there and look at your bracket, find out what you need to remove your floorboard from the bracket. It's usually just a bolt and a nut that the floorboard will come right off. Pull our bolts out of the front and the floorboard should lift right off. On the back side of your floorboard, you're going to have these mounting brackets. We already have one installed loosely on the front just to save some time. On the back side, you'll see that little nipple that sticks up and that square. You can't mess this up. So we're going to put this in place. It falls right into place. A little bit of blue Loctite on each of these bolts. Hand start them so you don't strip them. So what I'd like to do, and I've kind of learned over the years of installing different floorboards, is to leave these brackets loose. Get the Loctite on them, get the bolts in, leave them loose. And it gives you a little bit of play when you're putting these back on the bike. And the reason why we do that is because these boards are made to go on pretty tight. If you don't have that little bit of play in there, it's almost like you're kind of beating them on, and you don't have to do that. So just leave these loose and then flip it up and tighten them at the end. So we're going to put the board up into place. We're going to wiggle it around a little bit till we get the front and the rear on. We can wiggle it just a little bit, get that through, get our nut started. and push into the hole just like that. You can see the bolt come out this side, and that bracket there will hold that nut. Since we got that one started, we're gonna go ahead and start the front, which mine's kind of tricky to get to with these Cero foot pegs. We're gonna pull that up into place, try to get that bolt in up there. Now once we get our front and our rear bolt started, we're gonna go ahead and just snug these up, push that nut in. So like I said, if you can't get them with the brackets tight, just loosen them up a little bit, or just leave them loose when you're installing them, and then go back under here and tighten them up. Now with my rear floorboard setup, once again, probably a little bit more than what you have. Cero passenger adjustable pegs back here. Aftermarket floorboard with a dual joint bracket, so it's easiest for me to get to the bolts because we're going to be changing the entire bracket. Advanblack's going to supply a new bracket for their floorboard. There's so many different floorboards on the market and a couple of different brackets. So easiest for me to get to my bolts to go ahead and take the floorboards off the bracket. From there, I'm just going to remove my Cero adjustable brackets. That gives me access to the top bolt. Now, on these different brackets, you got different ways that they mount. Some of them, there's a peg at the bottom and a bolt at the top, or this is a 2-bolt system. We're gonna have to take the top bolt out and then slide it up to get to the bottom bolt. And once I slide this up, you can see that there's another bolt down here. Get that old bracket out of the way. You're gonna take your new Advanblack bracket like this. So inside your hardware, you're gonna have a larger bolt for the top and a little bit smaller bolt for the bottom, and you're gonna need to put a lock washer on there. So once you get that on, make sure that this piece is facing up, so that's where the floorboard sets. Just to save a little bit of time, once again, we've already got this on. We're gonna go ahead and tighten this up. Inside this little hole right here is a ball that's on a spring. If you look at the end of the brackets right here, you got little divots in there. That's what keeps the floorboard down or up. Right down here on the bottom is a cap. If you pull this cap off, there'll be a spring inside there, and then that ball and a little plate. So this should already come assembled though, but if you ever need to take that apart, that's how you do that. You're gonna go ahead and mount your bracket to the bottom of your rear floorboard, just like we did the front floorboard. 4 bolts, little blue Loctite, snug them up. This rear bolt looks a little bit different. It's a shank style bolt, just like this. It's got threads on one end, but it's shanked almost all the way across. Just like the front floorboards, one side has a nut on the bracket, so that's gonna hold that for us while we tighten that down. So we're gonna get that tightened down. I'm gonna push it over till the nut falls into place. That'll hold that for us. We're gonna tighten that up. Now that's locked in the up position. You can hear it click down into the bottom position, up, down, just like that, and you're done. No need for blue Loctite on these because those nuts are the nylon nuts. That will hold everything in place for you. Now we're gonna move up to the stock brake pedal. On the back side, you're gonna have a nut. Save a little bit of time. Once again, I've already busted that loose. We're gonna pull that nut and washer off, and that pad comes off, and you'll see the bolt right there that goes through that hole. Now with your new brake pedal, you're just gonna line that up with the hole. Set that on there. Inside the kit, you'll have a new washer and bolt. Once again, apply a little blue Loctite to that bolt, run it in, take a 10mm ratchet, wrench, whatever you got, and snug that down. The brake pedal is done. Now we're gonna move on over to the heel and toe shifter. You've got a bolt here, and you've got a bolt down here. So we're gonna remove those. You have to take those bolts all the way out because those bolts run in a groove on the shifter rod. So once you get the bolts out, you can just simply pull these off. And as you can see right here, our shifter pegs are made for the end of this. So this just simply slides on like that. Then you're going to apply a little blue Loctite to the end of this bolt. We're going to slide it through the end. You're going to do that to both of them. You'll notice you'll have one large one and one short one. Of course, the short one will go in the rear. That's for your heel. So with the bolt removed, we're going to go ahead and slide the front one on. We're going to line it up on the spline, hold the back, and we're going to push it onto place. So I've zoomed in so you can see the lines on the shift shaft. When you put this bolt in, this has to be lined up with that little groove in the shaft. So the bolt essentially goes down the edge of it and catches it. If you're up here or back here, you're going to screw up all the threads on your spline. You can adjust this up or down on this spline. The biggest thing is to make sure when you shift that you're not coming into contact with the board and not letting it shift all the way properly. Once again, a little blue Loctite on your bolt. When you put this in, it should go in really smooth. You know you're going into that groove. If it starts to get tight, you're on those spline grooves and you're going to screw them up. You're going to do the same thing with the rear. I'm going to put that down. We're going to shift it to make sure we're not coming into contact with the board. Little blue Loctite on your bolt. Same thing. Just make sure that it's going in smooth. Should go in really easy like that. If you're having trouble getting it in, you don't have it in correctly. Now with both of those in, we're going to double check one more time. Down, down, no contact with the footboard. And that's all there is to it, to changing your floorboards, your brake pedal, and your heel toe shifters. Very, very easy to do. And hopefully that walk around there give you a really good look at them installed on the bike. Like I said, you can get these in chrome or you can get them in solid black. Now, after this video has been published, for the first week or so, you'll be able to get them through an Advanblack dealer, depending on when you're watching this video. If there is a link down below in the description, it will take you straight over to the website where you can purchase them directly through the website. If you have any questions on this install, you know the deal. Comment section down below. I'll try to help you the best that I can. I'm going to get out of here and get myself back to work. I hope to see you in the next video, but until then, as always, be safe, keep your knees in the breeze.